Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's...
Comic Ramble.
Is that what we're calling it? Sure.
It's what you wrote on the title.
Right. That's what we're going with. We're going with that for now, because we're rambling about comics, right?
Right. And I'm the disembodied voice, in case you were wondering.
Oh, yeah. I occasionally screw my intro up. I've only been doing it for, 5 years or
A
whatever.
long time.
Anyway, these are books from the week of... He's checking the dates because he didn't look it up beforehand. The 15th of January,
Oh, wow.
2020. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yikes.
Well, we're always 2 weeks behind.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Well, because we get the books at the end of the week, right? No
Then
chance
we
to actually
read them.
Right. No chance to read beforehand. But anyway, so we're gonna talk some books. We're gonna start off by talking Lucifer, issue number 16.
You get to go first. It's your
Do
show.
I?
Yes.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite comics, period, bar none. I really, really like Dan Waters. I like the way he writes. I like his use of language and all of that. They always have great artists on it. This issue is Max Funarama. You'd think I could know these people's names. I own some of their art, so.
I would go with Fumara or Fumara.
Sure, one of the twins.
Mara?
It's a Max, anyway. The one who doesn't have social media.
Okay.
The other one, Sebastian, he has social media.
Gotcha.
And Dave McCraig on colors. So one of the things I thought was kind of surprising about this issue is I kind of thought that the last issue had Constantine in it. You know, it's we're making sure Constantine's in all of the Sandman universe. And I thought that the story that was going on there, maybe that was just going to be it, kind of a thing that wouldn't be.
We would be working on the hunt some more.
Right.
Is that what you're thinking?
Right. So instead, what they did is they had their own story and they worked Constantine into it really well. But they clearly had their own story going on, and it just happens to be that he was there. Perfect. That's an excellent way to use a character from another book, in my opinion.
That's how you do it.
Right. Yeah. So I just really like this book. The hunt. Odin takes the horn that's been broken. Lucifer broke the horn, takes it down to hell.
To hell to be repaired.
To be repaired.
But he won't let go of it because he's not stupid.
Because, of course, who doesn't want the horn that blows the hunt?
Everybody wants it, apparently.
Sure. So, rendering and fixing ensues in it. The artwork for that is just, it's wonderful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like I said, I just love the use of language. I think it's just a smart story. We're now dipping deeper into Lucifer and Mazikai's relationship.
Yes, and I appreciated that. I also appreciated Ruskin's, if that's...
Sure.
Anyway, I wanted to call him Pushkin because, of course, that's a really common, it's a name from literature. But Ruskin, I really appreciated his talk with Achilles because pointing out, well, of course Lucifer's a narcissist, but pointing out the fact that he really just doesn't bother to pay attention to anything that including Mazikeen, including what the view is, what Earth looks like, anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just, the art was, this is Odin starting to go through the fixing machine that puts people back together. Because, of course, when you go to hell, your body goes to hell, it gets torn apart, and then it gets put back together again, it gets torn apart.
And they have a machine that puts it back together.
Right.
And you can go through a machine, apparently you can go through it backwards or whatever, and be rended.
Right.
So that the demons don't have to take the time to, manually rip you apart.
Right. So, but at any rate, Lucifer and Mazikeen's relationship is strained, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
She is now working in antiquities. The antiquities she tends to work in are the macabre.
Yeah, they're cursed.
Right. Which is just perfect. You can read what she says a little easier because we've been reading her all this time. Of course, her half her face is destroyed, half her tongue. I mean, and so they write her with this horrific speech impediment, which makes it really a challenge to read.
You
Well,
almost have to read it out loud to figure out what
right.
she's
Well,
saying.
now she has this kind of silver face and a silver tongue that she has picked up, and she still has a lisp, but it's a different kind of lisp. Makes it a little easier to read what she says, but just really great stuff. Really wonderful art. I'm really curious to see. Odin is just obsessed with killing the god of the hunt.
Well, Achilles is even more obsessed with.
Well, but Achilles is left over from the prior storyline.
Well, I know he wants to get back at Lucifer.
Well, Lucifer gathered up an army because he thought he was going to potentially have to fight the heavenly hosts. So he gathers up an army of mythological beings, and basically Achilles has zero feelings whatsoever, cannot feel or anything, and he was hoping to at least feel the passion of war again. He was promised that, and he is still pissed at Lucifer for not having fulfilled that promise.
Yeah.
So he's going along with Odin to jack
And
this whole thing
Odin
up.
and Odin has restored that for him.
Right.
But yes, I also love the part where Odin shoves his own eye out again because the fixing machine fixes everything. So it repairs the eye
Right.
that he had already sacrificed.
Right. Just
It's really good, and I do love the coming together of Mazikeen and Lucifer, and the fact that it really is what happens when your toxic ex comes to visit. Hey, you look great, you're doing well. This is what you're doing, and she's like, screw you, what do you want?
Yeah.
And that's it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Just like I said, top book, always a top book. I'm just always excited to get it. It just has a very rich feeling to it. Yeah. Can't say enough good things about it. Have no idea how it sells. Everyone should be buying it though.
Yes, because we want to keep reading it.
Yep. And next up, we have the final issue of Freedom Fighters of Victory. And this was just basically a giant wrap up.
Yep.
The final punches on the Ratsies.
Yep. Finally
Basically.
taking down the 57th Reich or whatever. I don't remember, but
Right.
Hitler the Third.
It was fine. I mean, I don't know that it was anything exceptional, but it was fun. It was a fun romp. I still like the original characters best, the original version of the Freedom Fighters and how they played out. There has been some conversation I've seen that some people think that Uncle Sam being the spirit of America is potentially tone deaf to the spirit of America now.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
My only pushback to that would be is this is Earth X, so it's kind of an old timey to some degree anyway.
Sure.
I mean, there's a reasonable mix of people of color and women and the thing and
absolutely.
whatnot. But that would be my only pushback on that argument. But I mean, if you're going to make a modern I don't know, the normal DC timeline or whatnot,
I don't
then
think he could get out of his grave right now. So, if you think about what America, yeah,
I would think so. He'd be spinning so hard that.
Yes.
At any rate, so
that's delving into the other side of stuff, not so much.
well, but I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, that is
it's an interesting conversation.
Comics reflect the world,
Right,
too.
right. And if he's the spirit of America, would he still be this,
right? It's hard to know.
Yankee Doodle Dandy, whatever? I don't know. Anyway, next up we have Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy issue number 2. Still continues to be superb art in it. Another person that we won't even attempt to say their name. And that's, for me, that's largely what it's about. It's the art. There's just these great scenes and great panel work and whatnot as we continue to find out about Skeleton Boy and his experience becoming the sidekick for Skulldigger. And it is not pleasant.
No.
It's full of all kinds of abuse and stuff. And another kind of side story is there's a guy who's running for mayor who is an ex superhero, and there are some supervillains that have broken out and are like, gonna have none of that. This guy cannot run for mayor. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And a female detective who really has a hard on to arrest Skulldigger. All the rest of the cops think he's killing the perps, so it's fine.
Right, slaying the right people.
Right.
He's definitely a Punisher style vigilante.
Oh yeah. It's like if if Batman didn't have the no kill um, ethic and didn't have the finesse, because I feel like Batman has a certain amount of finesse.
Yeah, and kidnapped Robin.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Well, he wanted to leave,
Yeah, but this is.
and then he wouldn't let him leave.
Yeah, this is not what he was exactly after.
Right, right. I'm enjoying it. It's another one of those books that it kind of reads on its own. I mean, it has some parallels to the Punisher, to Batman, that sort of stuff, but reads on its own, and you don't have to be invested in the Black Hammer world.
No, not at all.
But it doesn't make anything less of it either. Whereas I feel like there have been some spin-offs that have not done well. This one's fine. It's not moving me per se, but you know what's supposed to about it?
Nope.
Issue number 5 of Steeple.
One of my favorite books.
This is the last issue.
What? Nuh-uh.
You sure it isn't?
No way, it can't be. That sucks.
These creators are going back to writing Giant Days.
They?
These creators are known for writing Giant Days, which is a book that has won.
Spring things like this in the middle of a video.
Do you not read?
Sure, I read. I just didn't read that.
If this is not, oh no, it says to be continued ? So, I don't know. It's a Dark Horse comic. Did it do well?
Yeah.
All I know is the creators
Yes.
are going back to writing more Giant Days stuff. That's the book that they came from, is Giant Days, who's won all kinds of awards and whatnot. They're writing spin-offs of that, and they do that for Boom Studios, and this is a Dark Horse comic.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, that'll make me sad because this was just a whole heck of a lot of fun. We have a
Keep talking.
kind of a trade-off. Our demonic Church of Satan priestess and our new chaplain to kind of do a trading places. But I don't think it's necessarily fair because there was a curse put on the vacuum.
Yes, the
Which-
Dyson was
Dyson,
cursed, and it was
yes.
meant to affect the
housewife, not the housewife, but the
caretaker of the
Right.
parish, who is really uptight old biddy.
yeah, and I don't think it would have ever worked on her.
No,
Honestly.
she
is 100% set on her ways, and
she's hilarious.
she is really funny, though. Really funny.
So I mean, so our new
Pastor.
pastor, she's modern. She's of the times, and she has a John Wick poster up and whatnot. And the housekeeper refers to it, the devil. Basically, there you
Would
go.
you like your
He can
portrait
watch
of
over
the-
you as you sleep with his black-eyed coal. His coal black eyes. I mean, but.
Yeah, she asked him where
Where you want the portrait of the devil
where
hanging
she
at?
wants her portrait of the devil hanging.
It's just
And then she makes some snide comments about what parts of John Wick she would like on her.
yes,
The maid does. Our poor cleric is just like, what?
yeah.
It's setting up. It's cute.
But there she is. She's helping out, and she's vacuuming with the possessed.
And you find out that
Dyson.
the people who fixed the Dyson for her during the
Enchanted it, yeah.
the witch convention,
Cursed
they
it,
enchanted
whatever.
it and they duct taped it. So it doesn't actually work any better. They just put a glamour on it so the lady would think it did.
And the priestess she's just having a
And that's just kind of a normal
right.
existential crisis.
Well, you find
type
out
thing.
that she's gone through a few of these things. Like, this is just the latest as she cycles through. I mean, she was like a Greenpeace fanatic before that. I mean, so she's kind of moving through things. Maybe she's.
And I think that for her, the Church of Satan, with its just live and let live, do whatever you want as long as you're not harming other people, helped her relax. And now she's trying to figure out what the best thing for her to do is.
Right. And the sea monsters actually are legitimately a deadly,
Yeah, they
deadly
apparently
threat.
no longer want to sit down and have tea.
And biscuits, yes.
They thought that was a sign of weakness.
Right.
Which is too bad because I thought that was really pretty fun.
Oh, it's the whole thing's fun. So I don't know if there'll be more or
well,
not.
I hope they do.
I know
because
it was
it's
only.
hilarious.
I know it was only supposed to be like 5 issues long, though. But they left it open to where clearly they could tell more if they wanted to, whatever. But I have not ordered anymore because there hasn't been any more for me to order in a while.
But
so.
if there are, we will be getting them.
We will?
You're funny. We will.
And I just told people I was the one that ordered the comics, and you just read whatever I got.
But I'm just like, no, that one I want to read more of.
I guess you better start paying attention to when things get shipped and not then, huh? Next up, we're going to talk to Lilo Woods with awesome Danny artwork written by Carmen Maria
What issue is this one?
Machado. What? Issue 2.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Where
I get those. I get
all
that
the
mixed
Hill House
up with the. No, I get that comic, just the name of it, mixed up with the period piece where we're in the dark woods. What's that called? With the woman and the snow and the little rag baby thing.
Someone's killing the children?
No. The woman who's supposed to be marrying the guy, and so her French chapter father wants her to marry someone, and so she. What's that called?
That's from Aftershocks Comics, right? Or Vault? No, that's a Vault comic, and that is something darkness, something or other. There's something.
Yeah, I thought that it had something to do with dark and woods as well. No. And so every time you say in the Lilo Woods, my brain goes to that, and then I'm like, oh no, that's the Coal Town, queer girl bicycle story.
Yeah, it's not really a bicycle story though.
Well, no, but they're always on her bike, and so.
But that's a means of transportation.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they uncover some different things in this one about
some crazy stuff happens in the last issue, and the crazy stuff doesn't get answered in this issue.
Yeah.
Don't say it what it is, just that.
No, I know that's true. I was just saying that.
And it opens up another can of crazy.
Right. They had some questions though about what happened to them in the movie theater.
Right.
And it looks as though they were roofied and taken someplace, and so we're not.
I don't think it's answered that at all. I'm still going with the fact it's the weird crap that happens to people when they hit puberty and in the town and the town
everything.
And the town is called. Go ahead, talk.
No, you go on ahead.
I'm not going to talk while I'm looking to see what the heck the town is called because it cracks me up. What officially the town is called.
Shudder to Think.
Yes, Shudder to Think. That's the name of the town. The town is Shudder to Think, and I absolutely love that. There's just a lot of really good stuff in this.
Yeah, it's a really interesting book.
It's got teen coming of age kind of stuff. Folding into that some of the queer stuff that's in that. There's
and the folklore behind this town.
Because it is this mining town that has had all this horrible stuff happen to it. There's this constant fire burning under the town. Fissures open up and swallow people at some point or another.
Half burned up people come up, zombie people come up and attack you. That was a surprise.
Right. And it's got the whole, like I said, the whole teen thing. They're at this abandoned place having a party and all the stuff that goes on for that part of it. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of.
There's the kind of hint as far as folklore goes of the song that the girls are singing. They're singing like a old kids clapping song.
Right. They're playing Patty Cake.
It reminded me of the stupid Freddy Krueger version, of the accounting song that's usually, 1, 2, buckle my shoe.
Sure.
That's not it, but it's got all of the kind of things in it that are happening in the town.
Right, and
and at the very end of it, they sing about forgetting.
Yeah.
Who forgets, we do.
Yeah, and some of the revelations in it I thought were really, just the way they're put in. You got all this, like all this, nutsy, kind of crazy, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, party type stuff going on and whatnot, and the two main girls in it are kind of having an argument about did something happen or not something happen, and just like out of the blue, one of them blurts out, something happened to us because when I got home, my underwear was turned inside out or was backwards. One of the two.
Her underwear was inside out. She went home and when she went to use the bathroom, when she woke up or whatever. Right. Her underwear was inside out. So clearly.
But for me, it's not that so much. It's the way it gets delivered in the story. It's like they're just having all this stuff going on and whatnot, and it's just kind of like they're having this argument, and you're being a drama queen about it and whatnot. Nothing really happened. We just fell asleep during the movie. It's no big deal.
Right.
And then then she blurts it out, and of course it's a picture, of you looking between your legs where you're sitting on the toilet, basically. at your underwear. I don't know. It was a
Right,
good.
and she's looking at the stripes, and they're on the inside where they don't belong. And so,
Right. It was
yeah,
just really good.
it's what you're thinking being represented. I'm so sorry, represented by pictures is definitely a really cool thing in this book, and it's really well done.
I'm digging it. Issue 2, only issue 2. I mean, there's a like I said, they keep throwing out these like random, just crazy stuff happens or weird elements, and I'm curious to see if we ever get an answer on them, or we're gonna get an answer maybe to the main story, and there's just all this level of creep
Right.
about this town
That we're not
that's
gonna
just
know.
you're like going, I just wherever that is in Pennsylvania, I want or
We're not-
Virginia or wherever it is, I want nothing to do with
It's
it.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, and shoot, I was going to say something about that. Oh yeah, and what's interesting is the day-to-day stuff, the potential that they were sexually assaulted. That is the part that is the surprising, scary part to these girls, not the fact that some stripped of skin and guy pops out of the forest and practically ate one
when
of
they were
them
younger,
when they were little. That's
right?
like,
And that's how they became
yeah,
friends.
that happens,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So it's just interesting that you can get used to your environment. Because if that happened here, I would completely lose it.
Right, exactly. Next up is the final issue of, or at least of chapter 1, the final issue of Second Coming, issue number 6. The flying fruit is a veggie tray at the end of it that gets knocked around for the people who are questioning why is there flying fruit on the cover with Jesus and a worn out superhero. That's what it is. There's going to be a second chapter to this,
Yeah, you
which
mentioned
I am
that.
not picking up. I rather this had been an ending, a solid ending. I don't know what you're going to tell after this.
Yeah, I found that this was the further adventures of Jesus and Sunstar, or
right.
what, is that his name? What's his
Yeah,
name?
his name is Sunstar.
Okay.
I mean they could, but it's kind of weird. There's
Sure,
there's
we can
bowling,
find out what
there's
kind
bowling,
of-
the Holy Ghost
what kind
and
of child they're having or whatever.
and
but-
Jesus and for me this book never lived up to the hype of well, it gotta be. I mean, it got chased away from Vertigo. Vertigo and DC ultimately dropped it. I guess they got scared because they're, the rabble was starting to, lose their mind over the fact that somebody was writing a comic book with Jesus in it, hanging out with a superhero, or whatever, and clearly it was going to be, that just meant it was going to be bad, all kinds of bad,
sacrilegious.
and there's some social commentary in there. There's some religious social commentary. I think it's less, to me personally, seems less religious than and more just, how people live their life and maybe how they should live their life, kind of a thing. Which I guess that falls under religions, philosophy,
Sure,
or whatever.
But that's not that. I understand what you're saying though, because there isn't a lot of religion
Right.
in it. I mean, there's a couple of churches.
Well, but
There's no
right.
doctrinal type
Well,
stuff.
and it doesn't go hard either direction. It doesn't go hard. You're a fool if you're a Christian, and it doesn't go hard. The Lord's written word is how it should be. It's just kind of a, we're living life and we're trying to get through it all, and people had jobs and they didn't do their jobs or whatever, and Satan's pissed off because he still really thinks like he was the best angel, and he wants to go back to heaven, screw everyone else, kind of a thing. I mean, but
I thought that was interesting because he made everything, God made everything, and maybe Lucifer, shows him kind of being there and kind of helping out, and him going, yeah, this is great, and it's like, yeah, look, I made these people. They're my greatest creation.
Yep, I'm giving
They're
everything to
the best
them.
thing. They get all this stuff. I love them more than anything. And here's Lucifer going,
I was perfect. You did what?
What?
Right.
Excuse me?
I mean, so
And I can, that's...
I didn't think though that like the whole play on like why was there a superhero in it? Why did there need to be that?
Why was there a superhero in it?
Yeah. So in this story, for me, my criticism is he could have been anybody. What about him being a superhero and fighting bad guys or not fighting bad guys or any of that had anything to do with the Jesus part of the story?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're
That
saying
it's not
that
like
there was a Jesus story and a Sunstar story, and they didn't necessarily even have to go together.
right.
Okay, yeah, I
There's
can
just, I
understand
mean,
that.
because they pitch it
Because
as
the
they
Sunstar
pitch
story is
it
pretty
as
good.
they pitch it as basically Jesus teaming up with the ultimate superhero. I mean, they're roommates, and how does that all play out? Well, it doesn't. Jesus wanders the street doing his own stuff while Sunstar is off doing his own stuff. And
Yeah,
Sunstar occasionally shows up when Jesus gets himself in trouble in the modern times.
and helps.
At most. Yeah, but I don't know. There's like one conversation of maybe we shouldn't just beat everybody up. That Jesus being Jesus, maybe we shouldn't just punch everybody in the face. And Sunstar's like, yeah, but that's the good part is punching him in the face. But beyond that, there's not a.
Yeah, you're saying that neither one of them really learned anything that they didn't know in the first
I
place.
I continue to ask why. I mean, so
Okay.
if it's a superhero story, cool. We didn't need Jesus in it. Anybody could have played that role. And in the Jesus part of the story, didn't need a superhero in it because being a superhero had no play on any choices that Jesus makes through this, or God, or Satan, or anybody else.
I guess I would almost have to reread that and decide. I mean, I'm seeing your point. So if anybody else read this and thinks the opposite, let us know because I think I see your point.
That's why I'm not picking up. I mean, they say,
I just thought
April
it
or
was
whatever,
a perfectly lovely,
we're
fine
gonna
ending, and
we're gonna do more, and
we can
I'm
move
not
forward.
interested
That's fine. That makes sense.
because it didn't. I don't know. It was a waste of the idea. I guess I don't know. Any rate, the Batman grave. This is issue number 4 of 12 from Ellis Hitch and Sinclair. It's a current when Warren Ellis is writing an action comic. It's currently Warren Ellis's style. He backs way off or something and lets the artist do the work because this issue in particular reads really fast because it's like 12 pages of Batman kicking a bunch of people's butts and every once in a while saying a few words.
Yep, and a little witticism from Alfred
at the end, which every issue's kind of done that.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So if you're just wanting standard Batman affair without all the trimmings of the Batman Rogues Gallery, currently this is the book to read.
Okay. I mean, I like it. I don't know where it's going next and if it's going anywhere. But I've always liked Ellis's work, so most of the time.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder to some degree if this comic is the replacement for the Wildcats book that will probably never see the light of day. That was supposed to come after Wildstorm.
Oh, right.
Ellis is under some sort of contract, and so they want to pay him for doing something.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know. No idea.
Maybe.
It's just kind of strange to see him just doing a standard
Superhero
kind of a book in the grand scheme of things that he does and whatnot. And next we have SFSX issue number 5. I think this would be considered the end of... No, it can't be.
No, because we're still in the middle of stuff.
Issue 5 is about the point they start calling it a...
Okay.
It says to be continued, though, so there must be another issue. I like this issue more just because it had... this was kind of the Ocean's 11 issue. It's them
to do the big job.
It's them breaking into the old club and trying to break everybody out. We do find the husband, who's has been being tortured. He basically, spills the beans on what's going on, and then by the end of it,
we find Jones, and as promised, she has no interest in. I mean, as far as I know, she is not. Mm-hmm. Being held against her will, she is fully converted.
I do really like the fact that in this issue, she is going into this thing thinking she's going to get this information out this guy because she's going to turn on her charms
Oh
because
yes.
there is just not a single guy that can like that she can't just basically you know lick their earlobes and they you know drool all over or whatnot, and he's gay,
Yep.
which is okay in one sense because she just has a different conversation. You get it, you get to hear, you know, and he's an older gay man, so you get to hear his
Why he's with the party
why he's with the party,
versus
considering being homosexual, which would be
right,
perverse and
right,
whatever.
which he doesn't get to be.
Right. You know, and how he was all this stuff that all these youngins are now. He was all that stuff, and he walked away from it and whatever. So it's an interesting conversation. She gets to watch, but she also comes out of it very disturbed
Yeah.
by the fact that here's somebody that she would have thought, oh, you're, you know, you're queer, you're an ally, and oh God, no.
No, and also I think she was also made, saddened by the fact that
What he had to go through.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, she says you lost someone in the plague, which, in
Right. If you lived through the 80s.
now would be, I don't know that this follows the exact line, so but
Right.
yes.
Right.
And that would be the HIV AIDS crisis during that time. So
Otherwise, though, I mean, it was like I said, it was a funner issue because it was the whole more a little exciting, but
yeah. I feel like it has been fewer than 5 issues because it seems to it's slow. As far as I don't know what I'm expecting to happen, but it feels like not very much has happened in 5 issues. But maybe they just had to lay down a lot of backstory. I don't want to stop collecting it.
what? And
I
so,
want to keep reading it. I do feel like it has not been the
but if it was solely just me reading it,
yeah. We'd be done.
next issue I would be done
Sure.
for sure. Undiscovered Country, issue number 3.
Big reveal in this one.
Yes. So I'm intrigued by the setting to a large degree. You know that America's gone, is spiraling out of control. Whatever. I mean, there's literally a spiral.
There's a spiral
and
in
the
it.
thing, and each chunk of the United States is part of the spiral, and it all kind of has its own whatever. Supposedly, we've only seen a very small chunk of it. Um, um, yeah, we get a few reveals in it. You know, somebody that's in the group of people who've invaded America, for better or for worse. We find out actually has. I mean, they've like used moon rocks and a helmet and a bunch of other weird stuff to supposedly tap into the zeitgeist of what's going on in America and understands there's a spiral and stuff.
Yeah, they understand what's going on, and they also think there's something weird about the way time is moving in between us, which makes a lot of sense because they get this video from
Right.
this rather put together doctor, and it's kind of like if you find the distress signal from someone on a planet and you go and you find out that the distress signal is 300 years old.
Right, right,
You
because
know,
it's outside
it's
the walls. It's
wow.
been outside the walls. It's been 30 years. Inside, clearly the way things have degraded in places and whatnot and evolved. I mean, because we're talking, there's literally mutants in this first part that we're in. You know, for that to happen, it would take multiple
Yeah.
generations of.
And I'm looking forward to, hopefully they'll have some kind of reasoning as to why putting up a wall like that would cause time to shift between the two places the way that it does. But anyway,
So
it's interesting.
yeah, for this issue is the first issue that it felt like Scott Snyder's part of the story raised its head for me as a reader who's read a lot of his stuff.
That makes sense.
And
I think I've only I've read that much. His all that Batman.
Right,
Lots of Batman.
right, and the Wake. And,
Ooh, okay, yes.
but the second half of the Wake though.
Yes.
So and I'm always not. I mean, I've kind of decided I'm not on board with Scott Snyder right now. I just am not really that interested in reading his stuff. The first 2 issues had been interesting, and did not. This one had elements of it that felt Scott Snyder like, and I'm concerned about that because I just been kind of like about what about what he's doing. So we'll see how this continues. I just have worries when I start not just reading this book, reading this issue, but thinking, what's the story potentially going to be going forward? How are we going to get through this? Are we going to get through this? I mean, how much time are we going to spend?
Right.
The places we're going to spend it. There's some interesting characters in here. But this issue had some jumps of logic and and reveals to them that, like I said, that had these Snyder elements that sometimes I have decided I don't enjoy, or I've seen enough of them that I'm not as interested in it. I don't know. I'm gonna keep getting it because it's got enough strangeness baked into it that I am curious.
Yeah. I I I understand what you mean about there being something in someone's style, because I felt that way about series of novels, or you know, like I dropped stopped reading the Xanth books after about Nightmare, because like, okay,
Right.
I need to just step away from the puns for a while, and it's all cute and quaint and whatever, but and I might enjoy those if I went back and read them now, and I might not. I don't know, but because I'm not sure. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't seem to have it together today. I'm not sure what you mean by the Scott Snyderisms, because I guess I'm not as
Well,
familiar
that's
with
on me. I
Silent.
can't explain. I can't explain what it is. It's just
Okay, I get that.
for me. It very much feels like a Batman. Um, um, Last Night in Gotham, that thing we just read, that trade thing that's set in the future, where it's a clone of
Okay,
Batman and
yeah,
whatnot. That story, the elements that are there, the way it's presented, the way the characters act and whatnot, feels like not just Batman, but feels like all the other Snyder stuff I've read kind of along the way.
okay,
I mean, it those first 5 issues of of Rebirth Batman read to me basically the same way as the last Batman stuff we literally just read, and it's been like 7 years
okay,
since that stuff.
gotcha.
And there are
You've just
elements in
you
this
have
that,
reached your saturation point with that style.
yeah,
All right,
there's elements in this, and I can't explain exactly what those elements are. There's just certain reveals and ha ha that feel the same way to me, and
okay,
maybe it's just I'm biased against it now. I don't know. But there's like a map of my camera's not going to focus on map of the United States in this giant spiral, and supposedly you start out at the beginning of it, and you're going to have to work your way out the spiral to get out of America for whatever reason.
yeah, that's what they've been told. And I don't know if the spiral is also what how the time is
Right,
messing up too.
right,
What I was
right.
saying earlier is that they received the video, and the gentleman the doctor that sent the video appears to have morphed into a complete, not morphed like literally morphed, but emotionally become a totally different person, and has little to no recollection
Right.
of sending the video. And unless he's like,
As opposed to being a smooth talking, aristocratic sounding type of person,
doctor,
now he's kind of like, yeah, maybe he's still a doctor, but he's also somebody who's spent, I don't know,
he's
probably.
calling himself Uncle Sam,
Right.
not to be confused with the
Well,
heroes in the
sure.
previous book.
Sure. Yeah, he calls himself Uncle Sam and has been living basically like a groundhog for quite some time now
Yes.
in the Badlands.
And doesn't have any recollection of the doctor that sent them the video saying that they could cure their disease.
Right, right. Next up is Dead Eyes.
Formally,
Dead Rabbit.
yep,
This is issue number 4.
yeah. And we have 2 issues, right, that have been new to the
Yes. Yes,
the
that,
series.
that haven't been haven't had to be retitled due to
Right.
legal complications and whatnot. And this ties up a story.
Yes.
This one does.
Yes.
Lots of endings. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I've ordered more or not. Oh well, no, yeah, there's more
I hope
because
so,
next up
because
is
there's- yeah.
Empty Frames, right?
Right.
So he finishes this heist.
From years ago.
Like 10 years ago, he finds his money and all of that, and in the process of some stuff, see some pictures, and the next heist or whatever might have to do with reporting some art thieves. Continuing to screw with the mobsters that he's
Yes.
kind of screwing with anyway.
Yes.
Because the mobsters have been after him this whole time, thinking he stole their money, which he didn't. Somebody else did. But now he technically does have the money. I will say, there's a shot in here I absolutely love. The book is very violent and very gory and whatnot. And I love this. This guy goes to punch him, cry. Your weekend,
Right.
your weekend karate guys, your weekend karate guys, go to punch our guy. And he happens to have been using a circular saw to cut a hole in the wall. And so he uses a circular saw to block, and it just
Yes.
fingers flying everywhere. I don't know if that was funny.
No, it's
And doesn't this dog right here
It-
just look like yummy snack as his fingers flying by?
let me see.
Just tell you, doesn't he?
I guess kind of.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm glad that he's going to make sure the dog gets back what it belongs. since
Right,
it was
because
stolen.
it's a money sniffing
Money-sniffing
dog, right?
Yes.
It's a fun comic. I don't know that it's not deep or anything like that. I really like McCrae's art style. I like his work. I've read other indie books of his. I really enjoyed that. Just a bummer that stuff. The Mythic, he did Mythic with Phil Hester writing it.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm really bummed that book didn't sell better, because that was a really dynamic and interesting, bombastic kind of a book. And this is closer to, I don't know, a standard affair, and it's a bad guy who robs from the rich and gives to himself and the poor along the way.
Yeah. But I don't feel like he's that bad. I mean, he retired from being that, and now he has to be because our healthcare system is screwed, which is one of the things that definitely is reflected in the book a lot.
So that's the excuse right now as to why he's doing what he's doing, because his wife is ill. She has like MS or something like that, and her friends now she has friends from the hospital who have medical bills also. So
and
clearly
she wants to help them.
we can see where this is
now
going.
that she has had
She's
to
on
deal
board.
with the fact that he's gone back with his life.
Right. But was that always the reason he was in the life of crime?
No,
See, I just think it's just an excuse.
you think so?
I think so. I think he's an
Okay.
addict. I mean, they kind of imply in the first issues, I thought, that yeah, this is why he's getting back in the game, because of all this excuses, because he doesn't want to work Walmart as a greeter. It's not that he can't get by working as Walmart as a greeter. It's just he sees the stuff going on around him and thinks he should do something about it.
Okay.
I just think. I mean, not to say that he's a bad guy,
No, I
but
don't think that
but
he
at the
is a
same
bad
time, I think he
person.
enjoys beating the hell out of people,
Sure.
especially if he remotely thinks that they might be a bad person
But
themselves.
it's hard for him, though. Not hard for him, but he did try with the karate guys to just get them.
To get them to walk away,
to walk
right?
away.
Well, that's because he wanted his money and didn't want to get into a fight. I think
Well, yeah, but
that less than beating them up. Yes, but yes, he relishes in wrecking people who are other career criminals, but doesn't necessarily want to have to just beat up random people for the sake of beating up random people. And next up, we have Jimmy Olsen, issue number 7. This is Jimmy leaving town, talking about leaving town, and then as soon as he leaves town, turns around and comes back
Yes.
into town. Because where he gets to, it's like, no. Because everybody's kind of like him. It's like, there's like different versions of him.
Yes.
The dogs are even wearing bow ties.
I think he likes to be the only one like him in.
Right.
So Opal City is not for him.
I really enjoy the comic. This one had less stuff going on in it,
Sure.
it seemed like. Kind of a thing. I still am tickled by the way the book is written. It's got lots of narration where we get some, narrator who is over the top with most stuff and whatnot.
Yep.
They
Very much like the narrators from the older superhero shows, like cartoons. Like,
right.
well, really like oh no, the first one that we watched, the Friends, not Justice Friends, but
Super Friends.
Super Friends. Yeah. That definitely
Well,
the
yeah,
narrator for
the
Super
narrator,
Friends.
and the narrator in this takes it over the top. It's never simply just it's way over the top on the description of stuff and just how campy it is and just lots of fun, I think.
Yeah, it is a fun book.
Yeah. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the question, the deaths of Vic Sage.
And I'm not.
And these are by Jeff Lemire. Dennis Conway does the pencils. Bill Sikowitz is doing the inks on it, and Chris Sotomayor is doing the colors. Issue one's been out for a while. Issue two just came out. These are these annoying black label oversized books. Disembodied Voice started to read number one because number two had come out and go, oh yeah, I forgot I didn't give it to you. Because normally I stack my comics up. These are big and awkward, so I don't stack them with the rest of the comic books, and that's why they kind of got missed. I did not like the first issue. You're like 2 pages in, and Vic Sage is this complete and utter.
He's an asshole.
Right.
Excuse my language.
Yeah.
He is horrible.
Yeah.
And it just took that couple minutes of him just treating some people who really were, no matter what he was thinking, victims, horribly. And that was just enough for me to go, nope. I am just going to enjoy the questions that I have enjoyed, and I'm not going there with this comic.
Right. So this my voice comes from a Greg Rucka written Dying Charlie and Renee Monte taking over as the Question. Both really great characters and
really well written.
And from the whole 52 maxi series that came out those years ago and whatnot, and yeah, I mean, even the more hard-boiled versions of the Question that I've read in the past, there's still a certain amount of compassion to the people who would be considered the
and even if they're not victims, I mean, even if she is a sex worker, but she
Right.
thanks him, and so I have a feeling that
well,
she
she thanks him for saving the girl, if nothing else, because there's clearly an underage girl that's
Right.
about ready to be abused. She says thank you, and he's like, basically, shut up, you whore. I mean, literally uses the word whore.
He's
I'm like,
essentially, yeah,
what?
yeah,
Which-
because he just basically says, you know, screw you, I'm not here for you.
Anyway,
Get the girl to safety because she's still
Right.
pure, not like you.
yeah, just
It's
ridiculous. I didn't like it at all. Really put me off, and I wouldn't be reading these if I hadn't already bought them. That's kind of where I'm at. As much as I really love the Question, I'm a big Question fan. By the end of this, it gets all kind of metaphysical, and suddenly we're back in the Western era. He is he's going by Charles Zaz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right. And he was on the wrong side of history during some of the Comanche Wars, and is trying to, I don't know, make amends or hide or contemplating life and morality because clearly he helped, murder men, women, and children in the Comanche Wars and whatnot. And there's some racism going on in this. It's clearly still the old Western times and whatnot. Some African Americans have shown up to buy a house and live in the area and whatnot. And they get treated poorly. He helps them out. Somebody gets murdered, and they blame it on, of course, the black folk.
Of course.
And he saves the black folk, and then it all goes to hell in a handbasket. And by the end of it, it looks like he's now in the 1940s, kind of a thing. I don't know.
Well, you enjoy that.
I kind of like the art because, of course, I like Sikowitz's
Oh, yeah.
inking, but
They're all people the people I know,
but
I generally like.
right, but beyond that, why we're telling this story and why Jeff Lemire's telling it the way it is, I don't know. I'm not excited at all about it. But that's it. That's it for this week's of comics. Maybe we'll be back next week.
Yep, and maybe I'll have a little bit more to say that's coherent.
Sure. Have a good one, everybody.
It could happen. Bye.